and the lake's frozen over. It's June 23rd. So I got my camp set up here. Got that on a quick release, so if it starts to rain enough, I can just pull that right over the hammock and keep it dry. But I wanted to show you where I'm camping at. Pretty awesome. So here's a fancy way to make a prusik. I got the one filament out of my sheath, but really I would rather have some really good thread. But right now I'm working with the filament. I got my piece that I'm going to make my prusik out of. I'm going to cross it over on itself with enough overlap that I can work with. And with that overlap piece, I'm going to make some whipping with my thread. So I'm whipping them together with opposite directions, kind of like a blood knot or a fisherman's knot, but with whipping instead of any kind of a knot. At least not on the prusik itself. And I'm matching this up nice and pretty. And that's probably going to be fine. Now, this is about when you dress it up and make it pretty as you're going to get it. And then okay, now I'm going to decide how long I want my prusik to be. That looks like it'll be plenty. So anyway, what I would do is then adjust the length of my prusik like this, snip it, and then melt that till it's a bigger piece. And then when I pull it back like that, it'll lock in place at the size I want. And then I'll snip off these and melt those as well. And I'll have a nice pretty one that looks functional. So just gonna go with the size I got for now. If I had scissors or something, I would cut that first. It's a little bit big, but it'll also be awesome. Okay, and then it locks because of that melted piece. And it locks because of that melted piece. Now I got a pretty little prusik. So there's one of my prusiks. Now I could have made this adjust, if I still can, but yeah, okay. So the way I've done it with the whipping, I can adjust it to whatever length I want, and then either snip it and melt it. And when I melt it, I want the melted edge to be big so it doesn't pull through there, or I can tie a little knot or something to limit the size of it. But as of yet, I guessed on that size and it was right, so I'm just gonna leave it like that for now. Now I gotta go find some firewood. Turkey bacon and bacon grease. Yeah. All of my trash so far has fit into the cheese packet of my macaroni and cheese I brought. I'm gonna bring this home for sure, and this is not a hard thing to do. Stick it in my pocket, stick it in my pack somewhere, and there's a lot of steep stuff. About as steep as that, and I'm gonna have to kick in some steppies on the snow to get up all that. But yeah, I'm still gonna pack out my trash, and it's not gonna be hard to do. You should do it too. Holy fuck. Alright, I was loading up and I dropped my canister off from behind that tree. It bounced down behind the tree, which is down this cliff, and it is floating in the water down there. Probably can't see it from here, but it's down there. Probably 30 feet. Pretty sheer, slick and mossy. I might have to let it float downstream and then try to catch it at the other lake. So I'm going to finish packing up without it, try to devise a way to get it after I'm packed. I'll check if it's still there. It seems to be floating, but it seems to be hovering down there too. That sucks. Here's an important tip for tearing down camp. When you're pulling out your tent stakes, they're going to be in the ground, something like that. So you can see how it's in the ground there. It's kind of at an angle like that. I want to pull it out at the straight angle from where it's inserted. That way it doesn't tear up the ground. For example, I know I put mine in something like that, and I can see that I did. So when I pull it, it should come up without tearing up the ground. Now if I would have pulled it straight up or a different angle, it would have torn a bigger chunk out of the ground. And obviously my tent stake is bent, so that might have been why it did that much at all. But yeah, pull it straight out of the ground from the angle that it's inserted, and you won't ruin the campsite.